Well, I was going to drop some quick information about this Moses Itauma uh, plans of coming up in the future. And I was hearing some word that he would possibly be going after this Joseph Parker intern belt that he has at IBF. And right now, if you see the names in front of him, it's guys like Justice Huni. Uh, that's someone that fought in Riyadh season last year. And I want to say, I think he only fought one time in Riyadh season. And then we had Itauma, that's the guy that Joshua fought recently. Still got Jared Anderson, uh, Vianello. You got Warley, who just got a big win over Clark. See, we got Chisora. That Hergovic one is pretty interesting because that can definitely happen between Hergovic and Atama, and that'll put him in a perfect position to be at least top 10. Um, and that can expedite his situation because FA and Bukoli, they're 3-5. They're gonna fight each other. With Frank Sanchez being number 4, um, I don't know where he'll be as far as this whole situation. Like, could be a Jared Anderson type of fight that happened between those guys. So I would definitely look out for that. I was thinking in my mind, Frank Sanchez would be a good opponent for him. He'll still be better than most of the opponents he's fought in the past, guaranteed. Most of these guys will be, or any of these guys to get in the ring with. But that Warley situation, like, what would Moses have to do? Is he gonna do enough to actually get past Warley without having to fight him, or would it be a situation where he could fight him? Um, that would be, if I had to guess, that would be a domestic fight that could be a fight for a number 1 contender position or something close to it. So I would keep my eye out on that when it comes to Moses and Warley. That could be a fight down the line. That could be a situation where they fight for the number 1 contender spot. In my mind, that's what I'm leaning towards. But that Hergovich situation is probably what's best as far as what Moses to get in the ring with right now. To be able to get that number 1 contender spot and then get the intern belt, become champion in the IBF. But if Parker comes back and he decides he wants to fight anybody who's basically in contention for that, because I know he's gonna want to still contend to become a world champion. He could end up fighting a guy like Moses. It all depends what happens against Daniel Dubois. If he gets past Daniel Dubois, doesn't have to worry about it. But if he doesn't, then that's gonna spark a lot of issues as far as who's gonna be next in line for a chance at that belt. And I know Moses is definitely looking for a spot. And a lot of these guys are Justice Huni. These are young heavyweights. These aren't guys who's had a lot of experience. I think Warley's still under 30 years old. Falls into that category a little bit. Itauma is not an older heavyweight. Um, yeah, so they got a lot of guys around here, still some youth mixed in. But I think with him, he's gonna follow down the line of that Parker situation, and could be a Hergovic soon. It could be a Frank Sanchez. Maybe he does something like that. They got Frank Sanchez at number 4. Maybe Wardley and Hergovic is something that happens, and you never know. We'll have to go through these next couple of fights and see. But I think Moses, he's on track, man. It could be some collisions he run into, but it's not gonna be any heavyweights where he won't be able to handle too much. He will need a little more experience when it comes to certain things, but I think as far as skill set, he'll be able to match up with anybody. He definitely will. But it's gonna take some physicality when he gets in front of certain people. Just not gonna bowl over everybody right now, but it could be some surprises that can happen. He's been getting experience as far as sparring, but it's a lot different when you're in a fight, a real fight, for a world championship. But I think he's on track. This division really isn't scary when it comes to his skill set. A lot of guys still gotta adapt the way he does best. But I think he's gonna have like 2 fights that could put him top 5s easy. He's just gonna be able to have to attain them. I know I haven't heard anything about Hergovic having any fights. Sanchez, um, That could be two situations. He could just stay back down and look at an Itauma Lin situation or something like that. It could happen. Itauma Lin is fighting Chisora, so that's not gonna happen. But as you look at this list, I don't think he's gonna fight anybody around him like Huni or Vianello, because the guys up top still gotta find some opponents. So really wouldn't make sense. But that's all I got. Like and subscribe.